Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the season opener for Sunday Night Skippy's third season here at Virtual Summit Point Motorsports Park in Jefferson County, West Virginia. We are simulcasting tonight on both CavOK Racing Network's YouTube and Twitch platforms. So if you're not on the one that you like, just search for CavOK Racing, that's C-A-V-O-K Racing Network on either platform, and we should be able to, or you should be able to find it. We do have a lot of new drivers coming to the league as we head into our third season, so I'd like to take this moment to welcome everybody, the drivers, including friends and family who may be watching. And for anybody who's watching this for the first time, this isn't meant to be a professional television-style broadcast per se. We're just league members who enjoy the league. Kind of just, want to share it with everybody as kind of a thank you to the drivers and all of you loved ones out there who make these Sunday nights possible. So we'll try to introduce concepts like iRacing and the Skip Barber car and basics as we go, but please don't hesitate to ask questions or add your comments. How, you might ask? Well, we're always monitoring the comments on both platforms, YouTube and Twitch, live. So send in your questions and comments, and we'll try to get to them as time permits. And I'll just warn everybody right away, if you haven't already noticed, having some computer issues tonight. We may experience some dips or lags, so it is what it is. All right, well, let's get into it. We do have a new reporter with us tonight who is here on account of some unfortunate circumstances, but we'd like to welcome Scott Dorkins to the broadcast booth. How are you doing, buddy?
Not hearing Scott. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, we hear Ian, so if you are new to the broadcast, we'll introduce Ian then. He is our in-race reporter, the one and only, and definitely one of the fan favorites, and I know one of my favorite segments is coming up, which is the track tour here. So how are you doing tonight?
Too bad, not too bad. I'm sitting here right at the start-finish line. The briefing meeting's going on right now, so we've got the track to ourselves. So if you're ready, I can get going.
Outstanding. Let's do it. We are riding along with you.
So this is a bit different because we're doing it from a standing start today. Usually we will be sitting here on the line waiting for the lights to come up, and when the lights come up, we will get off and head straight down to turn one. Once we're actually running at a bit of speed, this turn you're approaching it at flat out, so you're braking really, really hard. And what we're doing is, just to let you know, we're looking at these cones here on the left, and I'm looking for the 3 cones. And then you start braking and get down into second gear. Then you want to grab the inside of this corner and drive the car through it. Accelerating now up as fast as you can. It's going to be a really interesting one this time. Coming up for turn 2. This is an off-camber little turn, a little bit of a tricky one. So you got to brake a wee bit to get some rotation into the car. And you don't want to go and hit all of that gravel right there on the right-hand side of me. Then we come to one of my most hated corners. This little kink always messes me up until we come down to the first hard left. That's a first gear turn, accelerating through it. And we're in the S's here. And you can see there's a whole ribbon of turns linked together that somebody designed just to try and annoy us. And the poor car, you can hear the tires sort of squealing as we force it around these corners onto the back straight. It's not a very long track. It's 10 turns, 2 miles. But we're coming down here, get up into 5th gear, and then again, pick your braking spot, brake a little bit, drop a gear, roll it in, and then drift the car across the track until you come across and pass the start-finish line, and that's your lap, back into 5th, and away you go. So it's a pretty easy little track today. What's going to make it fun, and I'll just let you know, I'm doing about 130 down into second. And as I said, around that corner, the tires are squealing and complaining. There's going to be almost 40 cars racing today. And so that is going to make it quite an interesting wee race. What we've decided to do today, because we are doing for the first time, we're introducing teams. And I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about teams soon. But we're introducing teams. And so what they will do is the team members are actually going to qualify in qualifying group A, and they'll get 7.5 minutes. And once the 7.5 minutes are up, they have to come into the pits. And the folks that are not in teams will get to go out on the track and do their 7.5 minutes of qualifying. So it's going to be a bit more of an interesting set of sessions, having that differential of the two groups in qualifying. We just thought that having 35 or 40 cars all on the track at the same time trying to qualify was probably just a little bit much, and no one would get a very good lap in. And so that's the compromise we've come up with, and we're going to see how it works. Chris?
Yeah, it sounds like a good compromise there, and that was fairly last minute, right, with that decision. So that was some good, quick thinking. We do, as you mentioned, we have teams. We currently have 10, I believe, official teams, and we are limited to 2 people per team. Puts it at 20. You got a 40-person field, and the math works out pretty well there for you. So trying to split it up. Each team or each individual will have 7.5 minutes to set their hot lap. And then we'll swap off with the privateers, free agents. I don't know what we'd call them yet, but there you go. It's going to be it's a new little twist to the league as it grows ever popular, and I'm excited to see kind of how it all works out.
It's going to be a bit of madness and a bit of chaos, I think, as we work our way into this new teams process. But hopefully it'll be something that works out. It's a bit of an experiment for us. We're sort of feeling our way to some extent, as we go through this whole teams thing. But we'll see how it all feels out, So right now I'm just sat in the pits waiting for the end of this session, which should be coming up fairly soon. Before the folks go out, all right, they seem to be going out on their qualifier. So they have 7.5 minutes. So I've started my timer. And we'll see how they do. So, Chris, I'm with you for 7.5 minutes if you need anything.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, well, I'll let you if you've got some commentary they'll give me a nice break from the from the rest. But we do have that up. I'm curious though how the session split is going to happen. I'm still showing about 2.5 minutes left on the practice session. Is that going to not transition over to a qualifier? Or am I just showing it wrong?
No, I think that the practice session will actually finish and the qualifier will actually officially start. And I think it's from the actual start of the qualifier that we start our timing.
Okay, fantastic. Well, yeah, the team concept, I mean, it's across motorsports, really. I know F1 has been kind of used as the standard bearer for our league, or kind of the model, I should say, for what we're going for. But 2-person teams, and so you'll have your individual championship, but you also have a team championship. So there's goodness in finding a teammate that you can share, information with, that you can draft with, especially at some of the racier tracks where draft is a huge thing. We'll see that come into play with the qualifiers. Having a draft partner is going to be huge when it comes to setting a faster qualifying time and a higher grid time, as we see kind of how that last turn there, turn 10, is eating some people up into the gravel. So keep your eyes peeled on the first couple laps as the tires get warmed up during the race. But,
yeah, I think
some people are just kind of having fun as we go into the last minute of practice here.
The corners to look at are going to be definitely turn 1 as they come down, screaming down to slow themselves down. It's going to be a really good overtaking opportunity at that corner. And then this is going to be a big one to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on turn 2. There is a rule that's gone into play for this race. You'll see, if I don't know what you're showing on your screen there, Chris, but if you can show turn 2, which is this little left-hander with the big sand trap on the outside, there's a rule that's gone into play that if you put all 4 tires into that sand trap and gain an advantage, you have to give it back. So we need to keep an eye out for that going on. And then the next one where you'll see a lot of overtaking is going to be the final turn 10, as people slide their cars and drift them wide through there, trying to keep their time going, because of course they then on the straight where a lot of drafting, which you were just talking about, Chris, will be going on. And it looks like the checkered flag is out. So the qualifying session has started. So we will
And
give them
the first half will be the teams, correct? So anybody who's on a
correct.
team, it should be about 20 people or so. So you see them split off kind of 2 by 2 as they go out onto the track. They'll have 7.5 minutes. There's no lap limit per se. I mean, other than just being limited by the amount of time that you have. But this is our first attempt at it, and it's already not going super well. But we'll get it sliced out here. It does look like some of the teams just kind of got separated from one another, more or less, as they were trying to come off a pit road. This will be just one of those things that, you know, as we get more used to running in teams, I think it'll kind of iron itself out, and people get more comfortable with that. Another advantage that teammates will have is a dedicated Discord audio channel to talk to each other during the race. So they can talk strategy, you know, kind of give each other information as they go throughout the race. Time pit stops together. Should be a good thing for them. And we do, my goodness, I think we've I think I've run out of space for the timing tower, my friend.
Yeah, I'm looking at the.
I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to
I'm
talk
looking at the number of
at the same time.
entries. I'm looking at the number of entries here, and oh my gosh, there it is, a full grid. We already have some times being set. Houses right now at the top of the league list with 1:24.686. His best time in practice was a 1:19.923. So I mean, they're setting some pretty quick times from the practice session. I was just trying to see if I could see what our fastest practice time was.
Okay, it looks like Joshua Dancy may have set. He's got the pole at the moment. Yep. We'll bring him up here as Christian of course Perez. Christian Perez kind of
say no more, right?
Past that.
Say no more. I will say now. Oh no, we're good. So that's the top 12 cars are on the track right now that have set times. So let's see how this all pans out. I have to run away for just a quick second. I will be right back.
Outstanding. All right, well, we'll take it over from here. You can kind of see, I'll try to pick out some of the folks. We got Joshua Dancy, who I was just mentioning. He is teammates with Jonathan Dockery. And actually, let me get a rear chase. This is Team Storm here. And you can see the matching paint scheme. So that'll be another way. And then there's Joshua Dancy. That'll be a way that we can identify folks in their teams. We do have James Hauser, who's rocking the traditional paint scheme there, but he's teammates with Chris Herrera. So that's a bad example, but this is a team running on empty, as we have given much credit to before. Of course, we have Christian Perez, last season's champion, with Edwin Viorino. And I got to imagine they're going to be probably the favorites going into the season. Of course, you know, James and Chris, Walter, and
hey.
Hello, is that Scott?
Yes, it is.
Hey, how's it going? Well, Scott Dorkins, thank you for joining us in the booth today. It's unfortunate the reason you had to join us, but we are happy to have you for sure. You're joining us right now in the first half of the qualifying session. I'm sure you've seen that we've split it into two halves, where the team members get to go out first for the first 7.5 minutes, and then the free agents get to go out for the second 7.5 minutes to set their pit time. So What are your thoughts on this new team kind of dynamic and strategy?
I don't mind it as such. I'm more of a go it alone, sort of all in for myself type of racer. So I can see benefits to it, but yes, I'm not actually in the team this season, unfortunately. So it's going to add spice to the qualifying, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing the amount of cars that we have on the grid here so far. We're checking in. We've been watching Walter Collada. I'm new to this as well, so I'm trying to figure out who's on whose teams. I'm sure it'll get easier as the season goes on. But he is on a team with Pete Mobron, and they are full fuel strategy. So I don't know if that's necessarily a dig at running on empty or not, but we'll see.
Most definitely.
Give me the.
And then let's see who else is out here. Jonathan Dance, who has actually, you can see them right there. Don Parks right behind him. That's
5 minutes,
adequate
guys.
racing.
5 minutes.
And then
Well, if anything, this is going to make qualifying for the rest of us a little bit less congested. There's been
Exactly.
some races in the past where it's been difficult to get a clean lap in. So that's another benefit of this team play that will
seems to be working out. Yeah, so far we'll see. I'm sure there'll be things to massage and and change, but looks like a pretty good move so far. Jeff Torbeck and Tyler Kirchman, who doesn't appear to be on the track at the moment, I don't think, but that's Gamecock GP.
What
South
the?
Carolina boys.
Just ran into me. Stupid idiot.
You're live there, Ian.
Yeah, no, someone just crashed. I'm stopped in the pits to let everybody know that they can line up behind me. Back at me,
Gotcha.
it's a bit
All
funny.
right, 7. We'll get to here. Rich Butler and Robert Longatano are on team moving chicane. A little tongue-in-cheek humor
the rear
there.
wheel just fell off.
And then I don't see. Finally, Jack Moffat and Nikolai Wood.
7 minutes, 30 seconds has elapsed.
Team Voyagers. And
Voyage.
now we'll get
Voyage.
Voyage. I
Voyage.
googled it and they told me I was wrong for trying to say it with the French way. So I don't even know what to believe anymore.
Who knows? It's the V team.
All right. So who's coming out now?
I think you'll find it's a busy little track now because all of the non-team racers are now on track, trying to get their time set, and we've got some very fast people on there as well. A lot of them were down in the 1.19s, so expect some pretty good times.
That's a new name to the series at P4, now P2.
Oh yeah, Jose Soria, who just went airborne, grabs a P2 for the moment. I don't know what just happened there. But let's see, we've got Kent Kirkendall, a newcomer, setting a P20 pace. Linda McMurphy, season 2 regular, I should say.
Whoa!
Same with Vince Ball. Sean Trediak's in the house tonight. Currently sitting P23. Douglas Colligan right behind him in the 68. Alexei Dronov, and I apologize. Already missing a rear wing. I'm not sure what happened there.
It fell off when he was leaving the pits. I'm not quite sure how that happened.
The duct tape didn't stick, I don't think. I don't know. We'll see. JR Hoops, welcome to the league, JR Hoops. And I'm already losing my place here. Jason Bice, one of the sturdy admins. Of course, I don't know why he should be out with Steve Dewar, right? They, well, whatever. We're ironing it out. Steve Dewar's also out there as well. I do believe Jason and Steve, though, are on team undecided. Technically, they may have just been balancing the field a little bit, though. Justin K. Another Season 2 guy still joining us here. I don't know if I already said Andrew Cole. Season 3 newcomer. Daniel Pajowski, who again, I'm probably butchering that last name, I apologize, but welcome to the league, Daniel. Same with David Meyer. Darren Chernick is back for Season 3, as is Carl Dronke, who is going to make a strong push for that individual championship, I'm sure. And I think those are all of our free agents for the moment. I may have missed some folks, but as you can see, those with teammates so far generally faring better for those reasons that we mentioned earlier. So we're entering Season 3. This is the first race, clean slate, you know, everything else is in the past. I'm kind of wondering, Scott, who do you got for the individual championship for this season?
It's going to be close between the usual folks up the front there. Carl, Christian, Edwin, Pete, James, myself.
Yourself. That's good. That's bold. I like that. You know what? Confidence, man. I appreciate that.
You got to say it, right? So the reason that you're in the, I think you need to tell people why you're in the broadcast booth today, Scott.
My wheel base is broken, stemming from a week 13 accident I had chasing down Chris Herrera.
I mean, I gotta admit that trying to chase down Chris Herrera would probably get me to rip my wheel off my wheelbase as well. So there's certainly no judgments here, but yeah, that's certainly not a great situation. Where are you at with the repair on that, anyway?
Well, I actually fixed it, and I was using a product on the hub which disintegrated the wiring harness which connects all the steering wheel doodads to the main board inside the wheelbase, and so that has disintegrated, and I can't find any sort of help online on how to rewire that, so I could be out for a week or two, unfortunately.
I more like to think of it as Scott just, was racing so hard he ripped the wheel off the car.
I mean, that's what I assumed happened, so.
Yeah, absolutely. All this, other stuff is like, what?
Well, I just got word that JR Hoops' kids may be watching, and of course I focus on him so that they can see him as he sends it hard around. I don't know what turn that was, actually. I don't have my track map up. Not as familiar.
That's the last turn.
As the 10, oh yeah, there you go, right across the start finish line. And I told you 10 was going to be crazy. That we saw people spinning out mad there earlier with the colder tires. So that's going to be important to get those kind of warmed up as you go. But it's awesome. If I don't know if JR Hoops' kids are out there watching, but hello, welcome. Awesome that you get to see your dad race here, and we're excited to see how he does.
And I think one of the new racers that has joined us for this season is actually a real-life Skippy racer who races the real cars.
Get it out.
Who's that?
I'm not sure exactly who it is. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can get a little bit better time here. Come on, come on.
Survive.
Here we go. Nope. Didn't get on the 21s.
So I'd also like to welcome, we missed Javier Ruiz Arduengo earlier, and to welcome him. We do have officially 40 cars in the field at the moment.
Oh my gosh, really?
Officially 40 cars that are logged into the session, and I do not see any accidents. These all appear to be people who will be racing with us this evening.
This is going to be mad.
So there you go.
This is going to be really, really crazy.
We are, you know, we've been sitting here chatting, and I completely missed the time there. We do appear to be done with the open qualifying, although I'd like to bring up the fact that the reason that there's still some folks out there racing is on an open qualifier. You do get to finish your lap if you're out on it, and that still counts if you've crossed the line before that 15-minute time had come up. So that should be it right there, though. Let's see how we're going to start this 40-person field. And if you thought that I wasn't gonna read everybody's name when we had 23 people, you're kidding yourself if you think I'm gonna read it when we've got 40. So we'll throw up the grid.
I'm just looking at the times, and the differential between first place and last place is 9 seconds, but from 1 to 11 they're within a second, and from 12 to 24 are within a second, and from 25 to 33 is within a second. So between first and 32nd, you're looking at a 2-second difference per lap time.
This is going to be an incredibly close, intense race. I am looking forward to it. For one,
oh my God,
I think
just getting round turn one is going to be intense.
So I don't even know. I made the comment on here on the comments, but my computer is crying right now. I did turn down the cars a little bit. I had to out of necessity, I think, but I'll try to turn them up next time. My computer issues seem to have resolved themselves, so we'll get all 64 cars on the field next time. But just a quick shout out to Christian Perez for getting the pole, 120.022. Congratulations! As we now try to quickly scroll through the entire grid on the screen.
Good
Looks
gracious
like Christian Edwin are going to be the last to grid here. I think they're giving me just a little more time to try to...
I will be very surprised turn one isn't a scene of many crashes coming up.
Look at all those Skippies. Oh, there's one already. Who's off track? That's Chris Herrera off track. Alexei Dronov is also off track. Douglas Colligan has crashed. As we see the leaders string out just a little bit. Daniel Pogowski was off track. Also crashed. Ricky Burrows has crashed. We'll try to wait for things to settle down just a touch, and we'll go back and check out what happened there through the initial turns. It does look like Steve Dewars is also off track and has crashed as well. and we see people start to get a little more strung out here. So let's go back and see if we can sort out exactly what happened. I doubt we will, but we'll give it a shot. Here's Chris Herrera going off track. It looks like that was just a little bit more of a slowdown than he expected. I don't think he took any damage, but he definitely lost some time. He'll be trying to work his way back up. This is Alexi, who's behind all of that. He gets spun directly into the interior barrier. Douglas Colligan even further back into turn 1. Looks like people just kind of slowing up. Didn't really know, and I think that might have been Daniel Pagowski. It's a lot of contact going on there. Alright, well, we'll get that sorted out. It does look like Darren Chernick has crashed as well. I can't keep up at the moment. We're doing our best here, folks.
Let me say, so you think you can't keep up? Oh, shit. I crashed.
There we go.
And someone just crashed into
Darren
me.
Chernick and Jonathan Dockery get sent around, and they get into each other. Vince,
kind of
we'll see what happened to Vince Ball.
Nope.
That turn 1 is very tricky. If someone has a crash, or if 2 people have a crash in front of you, it's very likely that you're going to follow into them.
All right, well, we haven't watched a minute of live racing yet. We still have more. Jonathan Dance has crashed. Try to see what happened there. Just some, wow. I believe that was Walter Collada who ended up catching the brunt end of that. As he goes around. There's going to be a lot to sort out here, folks. Oh my. Alright. Let's try our very best to get caught back up to what is happening. We got James Hauser in the lead currently, with Jose Soria in second, Christian Perez in third, with a pretty sizable gap back to Edwin Viorino in fourth, who's carrying Pete and Carl along with him. Don Parks is in sixth, and then quite a significant gap back to Mike Bowers. So, oops. And Ian did not remind me to go back to gap, which is why everybody's looking at everybody's best times. We'll blame that on him for some reason.
Oh, well, thank you.
As we look down the field here, we're already making our way through lap traffic, some back markers. For those of you who are new to the broadcast, you do see the timing tower on the left-hand side there. That's going to show the gap. The times that pop out to the right are their last lap time set. Green is a personal record. Magenta would be a best for the evening on the track. I think that's about it. Blue indicates lap traffic, and then the same is basically true for the track map that you see. And if you see anything that gets highlighted in red, that means they've gone off track. As Christian Perez, nope, sorry, Don Parks sets the best for the evening. Quickly following that. So there's James. We're looking at him and Jose Soria kind of battle it out. Let's look a little further back here at Pete and Edwin. We'll look back here from Pete's view at the 38 of Edwin Viorino. So we've got Timo Brown, who's full fuel strategy, and it appears since Walter was one of the ones who flipped, he's kind of on his own tonight. He's holding off Edwin at the moment. He's kind of sandwiched there between Christian and Edwin. It's just kind of unfortunate for him, although he can hold his own. Across racing with Christian and Edwin are now making a Pete sandwich as they try to make their way back up to the top two of James and Jose. A little further back there, the aforementioned Don Parks. Another turn one incident, is that what we said?
No, sorry. After his turn one incident, Chris Herrera is almost caught back up to the front pack here.
That's right. He made some evasive maneuvers there. It didn't appear that he made contact. I don't know if you guys correct me on that, but you can see that car from outer space, and he's leading Joshua Dancy up to the front best he can. Jason Bice is also in that line, along with Nikolai Wood. We'll ride along here for a minute with Nikolai as he checks out the train of cars that are currently trying to make their way back up to that lead pack. They do have an uphill battle ahead of them, 9 seconds. Also, if you're not new to the, or if you are new to the league, we do have a forced pit stop. We limit the amount of fuel that the car can carry, which is going to force a pit stop. It's a 40-minute race, timed race, and that's going to come in huge. Your ability to get on and off a pit road, take just the amount of fuel you need is going to go a long way. And as a team running on empty nose, you do need to take enough fuel, so that will end up binding you. But every second you spend on pit road is potential to lose the race anyway, so it's a delicate balance. It's a skill in and of itself, and it'll be curious to see how this all ends up shaking out. A little further back, Jeff Torbeck of Gamecock GP is making his way up through the field, kind of hanging on there, trying to maintain visual with Nikolai, with Adam Wright. About 4.5 seconds behind. Looks like they're passing the lap traffic of Daniel Pagowski at the moment. Sean Trediak just behind him in the 15th position currently. As we pass the quarter mark of the race, let's take a quick look at total gains and losses through the race. We'll pop that up so you can see who's making their moves. This is probably more indicative of, at the moment, of early race incidents, but
Dude.
Jack Moffitt of the Voyagers is going to make the move on Sean Trediak that we were just looking at there as they head into turn one. Although Sean's going to take the spot right back on the inside. And I do believe they're hunting you down. Is that right, Ian?
Well, I'm trying to catch up with the guy in front. Yeah. And I've got two people who want to pass me behind me, but it's just really hard to find a place to let them by. Whoa, dude! Oh, it's back.
As
His thing, his
Ian-
wing just fell off.
Ian and the 27 Daniel Pagowski make contact there.
Yep, trying to get past me on the straight.
Further back still is Andrew Cole. Due to the league. Showing a lap down at the moment in the 32nd position. Steve Dewar as well. I don't know what happened to Steve. I didn't see anything happen specifically, but there was a lot of craziness that was happening early in the race. Still... I know Alexei Dronov was involved in an early race incident. Seems he's back on the track. See how much time he can make up.
Talk to me, guys. Tell me when you're coming past, and I'll move.
Walter Collada still in the pits. I don't know if he used his fast repair, which for those, if you haven't watched fast repair, you do get one per race in this league, which is basically a brand new car if you come into the pits. But he is sitting on pit road and has not left. David Meyer is... I don't know what happened to David Meyer. Lyndall McMurphy also showing in the pits at the moment. And we've got Justin Kay sitting in the 39th. He's 8 laps down currently. And it doesn't look like Tyler Kirchman ever made it to the race. I know he was showing earlier that he had to restart his computer, but I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Well, let's check back in with the leaders. We made our way through the field as somebody is going right through the gravel there. I don't know who that was. Is that Edwin? Looked like Edwin.
Come on, Jack.
Let's ride along here quickly with Edwin as he goes cross-country driving the Baja truck. That's some car control right there. This is a close race we got going on. Actually, I take that back. We've got Mike Bowers currently right on Chris Herrera's gearbox there. As we look back from Chris's view.
Aaron, you want to get past me on this straight? Get up behind my ass, man. There you go, there you go. Sweet pass, sweet pass.
Some other good racing we got going on here. Joshua Dancy from Team Storm.
Where's Oliver?
Right on the tail. We're gonna...
Where are you? Alright, Oliver, next lap, man. Next lap.
We're gonna mute Ian for just a second. I don't know if he knows who he's talking to. Oh boy. So Scott, what do you think of the action so far? This is a little crazy with 40 people on the grid. Are you sad you missed it, or?
Well, I'm there in spirit. I'm currently...
You're there in spirit. That's true.
Yeah, P16, P17-ish at the moment. But yeah, a lot to take in. You'd to keep track of what's happening to who, it's quite challenging. I can't.
Yep. Well, there's no lack of close racing. We'll come back here. JR Hoops. He's currently trying to track down Douglas Colligan, who had wrecked earlier. I didn't get a chance to look at the replay. We were talking about other things, but here's JR making the move on the front stretch going into turn 1. Let's see if he can make it stick. Nice pass there by JR. Well done. I want to check back in here just real quick with this middle group of Jason Bice, Joshua Dancy, and Nikolai Wood. They seem to be having quite a little race here for that 10th position, which, I mean, P10 just sounds a lot better than P11, doesn't it?
Of course.
It's only one spot, but getting that top 10 is kind of a good thing to have in your stat sheet. There's some good, tight side-by-side racing. So I think they realize that as well, as Dancy takes that 12th spot and is going to look forward now, looking ahead at Jason Bice and Nikolai Wood, who Nikolai on his very first race with the league, I believe, was at Nords, and Jason and Nikolai had a great last lap battle, and I believe it was Jason who took him due to some superb drafting work. And if you haven't seen that, go back and look at the broadcast from Nordschleife. It was fantastic. Last lap racing between those two. All right, well, I suppose we owe it to the leaders. Check back in with them. James still controls the field with Jose firmly in second, although Christian, Edwin, and Pete are just kind of waiting in the wings at this point.
Biding their time.
Exactly. We are coming up.
Soon.
I was just going to say, we are coming up on 20 minutes, so that'd be the halfway point. We'll see how the pit strategy plays out. Let's get rid of the gain, and as we see people starting to make their pits, we will pop that up on the timing tower as well. I do like riding along with the drivers who, oops, I guess that would be Pete. This is the back end of that lead pack. Carl is approximately 4 seconds behind these guys at the moment, but you're looking at the top 5 right here, all locked into a battle. That's James, Jose, Christian, Edwin, and Pete, as you would expect. And then you're going to have another 3 to 3.5 seconds now between them and Carl, and another 2 seconds back to Chris Herrera, who actually, he and Mike Bowers look like they may be heating up. Let's see if they can hook up with a little bit of a draft and line up, see if they can't make up some time to get back up toward the front. They're going to need a miracle on this pit stop, though I don't know that with those top 5 together in tandem. Oof, good luck. They're going to need to dig deep. Does look like we have some of our first pit stops, so we'll bring up the stat there on the timing tower. This will be the pit lap, L meaning lap, and then when they pit. So you can get a sense. You can see some of our first comers here, Don Parks among them. Any one of those smaller numbers, I wouldn't pay too much attention to. You're not going to have enough fuel to get to the end if you, for example, pit on lap 2 or 4. But 13, we'll see how that works out. I'm looking at Jonathan Dance and Vince Ball. Bit of a interesting strategy to basically try to undercut the field, see what they can do. Now, Scott, are you more of a pit early or wait it out kind of guy?
Depends on the track, really, and how the race is going for me at the time. I have tried the undercut. I tried that at Detroit, at Belle Isle last season. Didn't work out, and I ran out of fuel for the end of the race. So that that strategy went out the window. But yeah, track position is key. If you can get yourself into a bit of open air, that's always beneficial.
On the straight.
Oops. It's like Ian's still chatting with his folks there.
He's communicating with the other driver.
So that's important. So what forms of communication do these drivers have for those folks out there who maybe don't play iRacing? They're kind of watching it to see their friends and family here.
Well, the race. What do you want to call it? The race channel where everyone can talk to everybody. So faster drivers can politely ask for the slower cars in front to move to the side, and vice versa. Some of the slower cars can tell the cars to pass them in a particular corner.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily something that you'd have real world, which is kind of a nice thing, but you know, I guess if used correctly would be the way to put it. It's definitely good. You got this many people on a circuit with the varying amounts of pace. It's a really nice thing to have to coordinate, you know, passing, drafting, that sort of thing. They will also have, the teammates are also talking, so keep this in mind, they're talking to everybody. There's a common channel, and then there's also their private team channel, the Discord. And so it can get a little confusing from time to time. And then you add on top of that people like Ian who are trying to do their in-race broadcast on top of all of that, so you can see where that gets real difficult real quick. I want to check in here real quick with Oliver Hartley. Yeah, exactly. We need. I know we've got an Oliver Hartley fan in the crowd. We haven't had much of a chance to talk about him, but he's doing really well. He's sitting there in 21st spot on the lead lap. I think he made a really good decision point on the pit stop there. Might work out well for him. He is kind of out on his own at the moment, but really kind of hoping he gets up in at least that top 20 and see what he can do from there. And it looks like the leaders are now coming in to the pit lane. At least, no, I apologize, not all of them. Edwin, Pete, Carl, Chris, and Mike Bowers all in. But Christian and Jose have stayed out. Now, Christian and Edwin have done this before. They did this, I believe, at the season championship. So, the last official week, I believe, where they basically were able to time it out pretty well with Christian staying out. But it looks like they're trying something similar here. I don't know how it'll work. But we have a lot of takers now. As you can see, the names scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Lots of people coming into pit road. I think this is basically the point where you're going to see most people. Christian and Jose have stayed out. I'll highlight them there. They're about halfway through the course. We'll see if they decide to pit on this go.
James,
So another thing, if you're...
seems to have hurt him.
Yeah, he's down to fifth now, huh?
Yeah, the pit stops are crucial.
And it looks like Christian is going to stay out one more. So Jose comes in, but Christian, the lone leader now, staying out.
He's definitely carrying some fuel in a can.
We've said this before. He's the anti-team running on empty, for sure. All right. Well, as things cycle through, we'll check in here with Christian Perez, again, last season's champion. He is out on his own at the moment, coming up on Oliver Hartley, obviously lap traffic, being as he already pit. But let's see what Christian decides to do as he comes up once more. So this will be 2 laps now, greater than everybody else, as Steve Dewar and Daniel Pagowski to pit road. And there's Christian going on as we speak, smoking it into the pits there. That leaves Jose. So this is the second place. We'll see how Christian comes out. Actually, let's go to the pit lane view. I'll keep Jose's position highlighted there. You can see the 58 of Christian Perez right by the green cone. The pit stop is, or the pit stall is located roughly on the exit of turn 10. So there goes Christian. There goes the 27 as well of Daniel Pagowski. But there come the leaders. Let's see. He's going to make it out right in front of them, but he doesn't have the momentum. So that worked out pretty well for him, although they're competing with some lap traffic at the moment. Christian Perez still leads. And there's the 25 of Jose right behind him, so he was able to pull out right in front. That worked out really well. And of course there's Edwin. Pete Mobran's at 0.7 back. James 0.7 even further. And then you got to go all the way back. That's roughly almost 7 seconds back to 6th place Mike Bowers. Incredible job. That's some really good strategy. That's some really good pitting. So as things shake out, looks like everybody's pit here. We will remove that stat there and run down through the field. We'll keep our eye here currently, though, on the leaders as they work their way through lap traffic. I guess that's the other thing with a field this big, is you need to factor that in. And even if you have perfect communication, even if you have perfect intention, lap traffic is always going to play a part, no matter what. It's just part of the game, part of the race. So, as you can see right there, just really nowhere for him to go. So Christian Perez is your current leader. Jose Soria is your number 2. Edwin Bayerino, Pete Mobran, and James Hauser have all formed a solid top 5. Solid top 5. You have to go 7 seconds back to Carl Dronke and Mike Bowers. And then you see at the tail end there in that colorful car is Chris Herrera. And Don Parks not far behind him. So that's kind of your second group of folks. And then to round out the top 10, Jason Bice out on his own at the moment with Nikolai Wood and Joshua Dancy in 11th and 12th for the minute. Another 10 seconds back is Jeff Torbeck in lucky number 13. Jack Moffitt, another 4 seconds back yet. As he makes his way around lap traffic, Adam Wright in the 15th position. Another 5 seconds back, 4 seconds back. Aaron Law, seasoned newcomer. I don't know. I apologize, Aaron, if we didn't introduce you earlier. Sunday Night Skippy newcomer. Aaron Law is back there in the 16th position. Solid run for him tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Skippy. And Javier Ruiz Arduengo Currently running 17th. 2.5 seconds back is Sean Trediak. Another 3 seconds back to Oliver Hartley. 6 seconds back to Vince Ball. As we get really spaced out here, JR Hoops coming across the start-finish line himself. He's going to be the next. You see that line of cars there? Those are the lead pack. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares there. Oops, as we see some moves made. That's definitely my computer messing up there. Jonathan Dance in close trail. As Chris Herrera crashes. Oh, we got the 68 as well. I don't know who that is. Douglas Colligan. Let's see what happened there.
It can be quite a
Here
scary
comes Chris Herrera.
sight in the rearview mirror, the quicker boys bearing down on you.
Yeah, it's not easy to know exactly what to do. You think you know what to do, you know the rules, and yet when you see a lot of faster cars coming at you, life comes at you quick. Looks like Chris just kind of smoked it going to the turn there. So he's got the 21 of Jason Bice. In his sights for that 9th position. Something else happened? Okay, I missed something there. Apologies. We'll track that down. Joshua Dancy in P11. Nikolai Wood. I feel like some folks went off the track. I don't know who we were missing there.
There's been a small shuffle up at the top of the leaderboard.
So it looks like Christian's kind of opening up a little bit of a gap here. He's got some pretty good pace with Edwin Viorino right behind him, his teammate. But they're only teammates insofar as preparation and cooperation. As we approach the 34-minute mark here with 6 minutes left, those teammate titles are going to get shrugged off, and it's every driver for himself. So, we have currently 20 cars on the lead lap. Looks like Steve Dewar is going to be the next potential lapped car in line, as we see Edwin and Christian as they do, taking a firm lead, looking at 1.3 seconds at the moment, going into, I think, what Ian described as this really annoying why does this track designer hate us section.
Yes, this particular corner here where the Edwin and Christian are going through, it's very easy to spin your tyres and not get good traction coming out of that last corner, and your car in front can skip away a significant amount if you don't get that corner right. But Edwin seems to have gotten in front of Christian. Let's see if you can hold on to it for the win.
Well, he's definitely timing it right. Although I don't know if I'd want Christian on my gearbox at any given moment. Let's look back through the field here too. We've got Edwin and Christian, but we still got some pretty good racing here for that final podium spot between James, Jose, and Pete.
Chris has gotten in front of Jason with 9th position.
So after that, Chris has now had at least 2 incidents that we've seen, and he's still working his way back up to that top 10, 9th position. He's got his work cut out for him. He's still 6 seconds, a little less than 6 seconds actually, back to Don Parks. But I'll tell you what, without those couple incidents, Chris has got some pace today. Jonathan Dance sets a PR, as does Jason Bice.
Yet to be determined whether or not Chris will actually make it to the finish line.
That's true. Famously, he is on team running on empty, so we will see.
Sure, he's got things worked out for this season, though.
It looks like Ian has crashed. I'm afraid to unmute him here for a little bit. Let's see.
No, I'm still running. I had a little spin
Okay.
in turn 1, which gave Steve a chance to catch up a bit, but I'm still 7 seconds ahead of Steve, so I'm good with that. But it allowed Rich Butler, who was ahead of me, to scamper off into the distance, unfortunately.
And there he goes. We're checking in with you here, Ian. Yeah, we have not given the entire field here their due. We apologize. It is so amazing that we have 40 cars that made the grid today. It's a good problem to have, but we certainly hate that we can't give everybody equal time. As we near now a minute and a half left on the race. Check back in Edwin, who's currently the race leader. We're just gonna stay on him to see how this might actually end. With a minute 20, he's about halfway through.
There'll be another lap after this.
There'll be one more lap. Yeah, so this will be the white flag. So I apologize, Robert Longitano on Team Moving Chicane. We haven't given him his love, and he's bringing home right now. He's kind of out there on his own. No mistakes. 26th place finish. That's pretty solid. Jake Ashe worked really hard on his car. We'll give him a little rear chase here in the 77 A&W Racing. As the leaders pass the start-finish line, we will enter our last lap. This is the white flag.
I have a great view of the 2 leaders racing each other into turn 1. They're side by side as they go through the turn, and they're going racing up to turn 2. The left-hander with the big off patch on the side, and they're going into it 2 together. They backed off a little bit, so now they're one behind each other. As who is it? Vince Ball went a little wide there.
Ian trying to play spoiler here.
Ian's got the best seat at the house.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're approaching the final turn here. Let's see what they have for us.
He's going to send it on the inside.
There he goes.
He can't do it. He can't do it.
Make it though.
It's down to the wire though. Oh, he's trying.
He cuts underneath. Oh no! Christian says, "Well done, mate." There's.
Can everybody please stay in sim?
Christian.
Can everybody please stay in sim when you finish the race? I would like to just have a quick word. Drive it
All
around and
right.
park it in the pits.
All right, we'll mute him for a second here. Let's give folks their due. We've got Edwin, Christian, and James will round out your podium for tonight with Pete, Carl, Don, and Mike, Jose, Chris, Jason Bice, Joshua Dancy, Nikolai Wood, Jeff Torbeck, Jack Moffitt, and I believe Adam Wright. Aaron Law coming back for that 16th spot here. Let's pull up real quick the total gain. I think that's a neat little graphic to watch as we end here. Like Sean Trediak is also in, along with Javier Ruiz Arduengo. And some others that are a lap down, also all ending their races. Holy cow.
We're going to need longer races.
Whew. I am exhausted. I don't even know what happened there. Well, it's bring up the finish here. Edwin Viorino wins the first race of the season. Awesome job. Christian Perez, his teammate, coming in second, and James Hauser rounds out the podium there. And we will cycle through the grid as we go. Great finish for our cross racing and team running on empty, I would say. Oops. Not sure. There we go. Well, I need some coffee. That was amazing. Well, let's see. Gotta figure out when to bring.
In there, tried really hard to make sure they needed us to. It was not the easiest thing to do. Teams for the first time, looks like it went really well. But I just really wanted to just take this time to say to you all, congratulations. I think that was a fabulous first race of our season 3. And I really hope we can see more of this. There was some fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing from everyone. And again, I said, I like to say that everybody was very polite in terms of trying to get out of each other's way. I thought the communications worked reasonably well. But guys, if you have any comments of ideas of how to make it a little easier for folks.
All right, we were listening in there with Ian. He looks like he was addressing the drivers. So we'll leave him to that. But just a little peek in there, what happens after the race. And hey, thanks you guys for giving. Yes, a coffee or a stiff drink is what I need at the moment. I'm sure Scott could vouch for that as well. But we're gonna need to figure out something different if we're gonna have this many drivers. It's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining for sure. But this it was some great racing, a lot of stuff going on. I'm curious to see how all the potential penalties shake out. This is not a penalty-heavy league by any means, but you see, you try to keep it clean, especially when there's this many drivers. And I know that lap traffic was a big kind of highlight point that we wanted to make sure that the teaching moments that are happening there. But I didn't see anything too crazy this evening. But that's going to affect the overall standings at the end of the day. So great race by everybody, and we're really excited to bring all of this stuff in to the Sunday Night Skippy Racing League. All these different twists. This is a direct result of feedback from the drivers. All the admins have been great with basically collecting, hey, how can we, at the end of the season, these are the top whatever, 5 things that we've heard, and everybody take a vote, and let's try to make this better each season. We're not going to get it right every time, but we're going to make it incrementally better and inclusive of everybody. So I think this was a great start to season 3. I think it shows the potential that the season and the setup has, and I'm really curious to see how the season plays out.
So can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we got you on
Oh,
here now.
right,
Sorry,
yeah.
we
So,
were kind of listening in a little bit to you there. So.
well, I thought everybody did so well. I mean, it's not easy with such a humongous grid to have everybody race clean, but I think to a very very large extent they did. I must admit I'm not massively looking forward to going through and trying to figure out all the problems, but it's going to take a while. But we've got some new stewards this week, which is awesome. They're here for the new season, which is fantastic. So we've got Walter Kalata, who's going to be a steward with us this season. And we've also got Don Parks. So they will be working with us to go through all of the race incidents and figure out if there's any penalties that need to be assessed for anybody as we go forward through this race. Just to tell everybody who might be new, we do go through recordings of the entire race. We look at every single incident, or we try to, and assess whether or not someone is, needing to be penalized for that for whatever reason, or not, as the case may be. It takes some time, but it helps us keep it a nice, clean race. So there you go.
Perfect.
You might think
No,
it's over, but it's not.
It's not over. Not well for us it is, but for you, for you, the show must go on at least for a couple more days. Well, I want to get to our interviews here. We do have quite a few people lined up, and we want to make sure that we try to talk to as many folks as possible. We do have, I believe, newcomer Andrew Cole here, so we don't get to talk to new folks all that often. So I want to bring Andrew in here first. And hey, Andrew, do you got a copy on us?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and
Cool.
clear. So, yeah, what'd you think of that race?
It was amazing. It's the first league race I've ever done. I've been in iRacing for a long time, and my iRating would reflect that I always get mugged by people a lot of the time. So it was good to be in a place with a lot of clean racing, a lot of people helping each other out, and I really appreciated it. Plus, I don't know about y'all. I live in Hawaii, so having a place to be on Sunday afternoon is a good place.
Well, that's great. I mean, well, first of all, welcome to the league. I hope you get a chance to, check out the broadcast. We tried to get some footage of you there, but league racing, I
Hopefully
think
only the good
this
bits.
is. Right. Well, yeah. I don't know. I hate to set this up as an example of league racing. This is, this is only I'm here for a season and a half now, maybe not even.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you. I'm relatively new here, and it's been fantastic. And just the 40 you showed up on the night where we had 40 cars start on the grid. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No. And 40 cars that were all within just a few seconds of each other was pretty amazing.
Right? Yes. Awesome. Well, hey, do you have any, we don't know much about you. Do you have any shout outs you want to give or anybody you want to say hi to?
No shout outs, but maybe in time. I appreciate you guys putting this together. This has been a lot of fun, and I can't wait for more.
Don't forget, you can, Monday morning or whatever, while you're sitting in your home office, social distancing or whatever you're doing, you can go ahead and watch the entire race all over again from the broadcast perspective.
I don't know if I
With
want to
my-
see myself in the race, but I will definitely take a look at it.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot
That's
of fun.
funny.
Will do. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Take it easy, mate.
Well, welcome
Aloha.
to the league, and we'll see you next week. Aloha.
Bye.
Awesome. Well, I was Andrew Cole, league newcomer, and so happy to have him. That's awesome. We'll bring in Jonathan Dockery next. I don't remember if we've ever had Jonathan in the broadcast booth, but
I think we have.
He looks like he walked. We walked. He walked away with a P23 today, which I think is pretty respectable. What do you think of the race, Jonathan?
I liked it. Had a quarter, I think it was lap 2, across the track in turn 1, and I hit him.
Oh, that's not good. Well, we'll be having a look at that, mate. What lap was it on?
Lap 2, I think.
Lap 2. Thank you. I'll note that. And we'll
no.
go and check it out.
It wasn't anything that I mean, he came at. He was in the grass somehow and slid across, and I just T-boned him, so I had to go to the pit and repair. But it was great.
Yeah, 40 cars started that race. That was pretty impressive. And I think, Chris, I don't know, but did everybody finish?
I think maybe Tyler Kirchman never started. Don't know what happened to him. Got a message that he was restarting his computer, but outside of that, it looks like everybody at least ran a lap, based on what I can tell.
Good.
So,
Good
still pretty
stuff.
good. Well,
Good
what do you? Awesome paint scheme there, Jonathan. I think your team is set up pretty well. How did you think? What did you think of the team dynamic?
I liked it. Makes for some interesting racing for sure. I didn't get a race with my teammate because he's, like I said, he started 3 places ahead of me, and then I T-boned the guy. So, but it was great.
It's difficult when that happens. I saw that there were quite a few team members.
I'm having to break in a new teammate because Bill Groomer is elected not to race apparently. So I'm with Jonathan Dancy, and he's great. I think he started iRacing 4 weeks before the end of our last season.
Well, he's definitely bringing it strong for Team Storm with that P11, man. That's I think you picked well, so that's good on you, and congratulations on a solid finish. I guess we'll see you next week.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Have a great night, brother.
You all too.
All right, let's bring in JR Hoops, who is another league newcomer, and got word that he had kids that may be watching. JR, you got a good copy with us?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to Sunday Night Skippy, first of all, and second of all, I got to know, what was it like being in that 40-car grid for the first time in the league?
Well, it was intense to say the least, like a bunch of fighter jets behind you. It was intense.
So your initial thoughts on the course? Did you have a strategy going into it? Did you stick to it, or were you just kind of holding on and trying to get those clean laps in?
Clean laps, don't finish last, don't wreck the leaders, and I think I accomplished that. I almost ruined it in the turn there when they were lapping me there, but I was successful. I didn't wreck it.
There you go.
That's the main thing. Don't wreck anyone else.
Right, and it's just so much cleaner than obviously public lobbies, and everybody was very very good communication on the radio. I mean, it was good. I can't wait till next week.
Well, we'll be in Spa next week, back at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. This will be the GP Pits version of that. Have you ever run that one, Jonathan?
No, I have not.
Not the GP Pits yet. Well, it'll be interesting. I think that's the one where you instead of coming out of the pits onto turn 1, just after turn 1, it exits you just after Eau Rouge and the little hill there. So I think that's where you kind of come out. So we'll see how that goes. That should be fun.
Yes, sir.
40 cars, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to see it again. I'd like to see more. I mean, that was pretty impressive. So I appreciate being invited, being accepted. It was a good time.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, keep your eye out on the Discord too. Usually we got at least James Hauser's pretty good about putting down tutorials for the tracks. I know that I make good use of those, trying to figure out what the line I'm doing is clearly not right, and he kind of is able to talk you through it a little bit. So take advantage of that, and welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a good evening.
All right. We'll see you.
Okie dokie.
Outstanding. All right. Well, we've got a couple more people here. Let's bring in Jack Moffitt, who was my teammate from the Week 13 endurance race. I'm sure he's glad to be over that phase of his life, but he's on to bigger and better things now, going into the third season of Sunday Night Skippy. how'd you feel about the race tonight, Jack?
Well, I miss you too, Chris. But the
Yeah, I
race was
know.
great.
So talk to us. You know, we've been asking kind of the same questions, but you know, kind of the things that stuck out to us at least was A, the 40 car field, and B, the team dynamics. Do you feel that impacted the way that you approach the race at all, or was it just kind of, you know, you're out there doing your thing and it is what it is?
Nikolai and I had a chance to run a couple of the practice races this week together. So we had some chances to practice, staying close in draft to get faster qualifying times. We used that pretty well, I think, on Friday night. We tried to do that tonight, but we just couldn't get a clean lap in. So we had a couple of dirty laps, and then we had a couple of clean laps, but they weren't that fast because we were going through traffic, and then we couldn't put it together during qualifying. But we still finished pretty well. I think he was 12th and I finished 14th, so it was a good week for the Voyageurs. And man,
I
had
told you it wasn't Voyagers.
Voyageurs.
I was saying it wrong.
I had a interesting early thing. There was a big wreck in T1 at some point, and I had to pull off. I think maybe in lap 2, and I had to pull around T1 into the dirt, and I lost about 6 places there. And so I eventually wound up catching back up, and then I caught up to Ian, who was a lap down, and Daniel, I think. And just as I was about to do my pass coming out of T10, had a nice run, somebody tried to pass me on the inside, and so I was totally blocked in, and we ended up all being locked up, and we ended up being behind Ian and Daniel for like another 2 laps because it happened again on the next lap. It was kind of funny.
Locking you in there.
Ian kept saying, "Tell me where you're going to pass me." I was like, "I'm trying, buddy," but like we're blocked in everywhere.
Dude, this is Ian, and I'm telling you, you should have been pedaling faster.
Yeah, I was pedaling as fast as I could, but
No,
it
it's like
definitely.
a T behind me, you know. It's that you're sitting there and you're listening to it, and it's going blue flag, and you're going, yeah, okay, I know it's blue flag. I can see him behind me. He's like 1.6 seconds back. He's getting closer. Cool. All right, blue flag. All right, still there. Yep. Okay, we're in the S's now. We're going through all the twisty bits. Okay, we're getting onto some straights. All right, when do you want to pass me?
Yeah, it's not often
Nothing.
you get in a 4-car group with lapped cars and leader cars, and everybody's trying to pass everybody. That was pretty entertaining. But we kept it all clean. At least around me, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I think it was very respectful. And what I did find, I'm going to say this in my own thing, is there were some corners where I was certainly faster than the people I was letting past.
Yeah, I had that. I think in our last race of last season, I was a couple laps down because I had an early incident, and I was clearly faster than a lot of the people that were ahead of me. But they just let me by, and as long as I kept well ahead of them, it was all good.
Yeah.
I let Walter ahead of me tonight, even though he was a lap down. I tried to use him to pull me in front of Jeff, and then had a bad T10 exit, lost Walter. Caught him again, had a bad T10 exit again, lost Walter's draft. Then Walter passed Jeff, and Jeff got a tow, and then I couldn't catch him.
Well, I think it was an entertaining race to watch, at least. So I'm glad you had fun. It sounds like you had fun when you were driving it as well. And I'm looking forward to how Spa works out. That was one that we did not too long ago, unlike Summit Point. So I think there's going to be a little more familiarity there, potentially. And now that we're kind of putting all the pieces together, the teammates and the qualifying and tracks that we're maybe a little more familiar with, at least based on recency, I think it's going to be really exciting to see what happens moving forward. You have anything, any other shout outs, Jack?
Just shout out to Nikolai. He did a great job, and it was a good result for our team. I think it puts us like probably in 4th or 5th place in the team standings, I hope.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks for the broadcast, guys.
No worries, mate. Congratulations. Just as a related thing, I was talking about Spa, and Adam Wright corrected me and said that we will actually be running the same layout that we ran last time. So there we go.
Oh, there you go. Even more familiarity. No excuses, guys. Play like a champion. All right. Have a good night, Jack.
You too. Bye.
All right. Well, let's bring in our winner Edwin and P2 Christian all together here. We wanted to get them interviewed together. Teammates bringing home the trophy and the second place position. And we just got to know, guys, did that worked out very well for you? You seem to do a very similar strategy to the last race of last season, where Christian, you stayed out. Did that all go according to plan, or did you guys have to adjust?
Well, I think that it was on the plan. We saved a lot of fuel. I saved a little more than Edwin, but enough to get on the 1 and 3, I think. Jose was second, and then was just lucky that we make a gap together and run out.
Follow-up question then: why did you let Edwin win? I don't understand.
What? No.
He don't give me the win. Huh?
Well, it's the first race, and we can. So I know that Edwin and I can fight alongside 3 or 4 laps in a row, but it's the first race in the championship, so don't need to risk. 1-2 is better.
There you go. Yeah, that's hard to beat that start to the season for sure. 1 and 2 clearly going to be leading the team championship going into season 2. Edwin, I wanted to ask, when do you decide, okay, we're a team, but I still got to try to win this race? Like, is that on the last lap? Is that a decision you make with 5 minutes to go? When do you decide, you know what? All right, gloves are off. We've got a good lead. Here we go.
Maybe 5 laps to go. I decide fight hard with Christian and try to win the race.
Well,
but I think
Christian
is a little faster than me in this track, but with the draft is easy. Follow the other guys. We have a lot of suerte. ¿Cómo se dice suerte, Christian?
Luck.
A lot of luck because Jose and Hauser fight in one corner, and Christian and me gone. And ciao, bye bye.
Yeah, that was really impressive, the way that you guys were able to just pull away from everybody. It was really fantastic to see, and I knew going into the end there that it was going to be fun to watch you guys battle it out for the win. What did you think of it's a relatively small track, right? It's a little shorter, it's a little narrower, and we had 40 cars on the grid.
A lot of
so
cars.
talk to me about, did that play how you're gonna most likely have to deal with that moving forward? How does that play into your strategy, if at all?
Well, it was difficult because that circuit is very short, as you said, and the fuel is like I think that ran out of fuel on 0.3, and it's just like on the last straight, make to the box and just pop. Well, it was funny to go to the limit on the fuel at least, and then I said a lot of lap cars on 40 cars on a circuit, on a track of 1.20 is a lot. So, but the lap cars good, and just a very fun race to go.
Awesome.
Chris,
you got anything for? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yes, this season is a really, really hard season for us because Jose Soria entered, James come overpowered, Pete come fast, Chris Herrera come like a rocket. Oof, it's too difficult for us to won this season. It's a really, really, really tough.
We
Yeah,
will try.
for a while there, the 1 through 5 really. I mean, you said it. You know, James, Pete, Carl, Chris, Don. I mean, Mike. There, Jose was up. There's just so many guys who are just really pushing you. Which, to be honest, I mean, it probably makes you guys better as well. But it obviously makes it more entertaining for us, for sure. So I guess you know, it makes it easy for us to say, you know, you can't take that off week. You know, it's every week it's going to be a battle, and it's really awesome to see. And I just commend you. To your point, those are some very fast drivers, and yet you guys still seem to find a way to pull it out and win. And I think that just goes to show just how skilled and fast you guys are. So thank you guys very much for being part of the league, and it's so fun to watch you drive.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you to you.
One
And the races.
thing more. Only Viva Christian and Viva Edwin, okay?
Oh man,
Oh my
love
God.
it.
Edwin.
All right.
Well, see you on the spa, guys.
In Spa. There we go.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
spa.
See you guys. Thank you for the
Looking
team.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Ciao, guys. Viva Edwin.
Ciao. Viva.
Ciao.
All right, we got one more. We'll see. James Hauser in the house. He was able to pull out the final podium spot ahead of Pete Mobronton. James, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. How you feel about the finish tonight? You were kind of running up there. It was really strong showing, but you know, of course, Christian and Edwin pulling away right at the end there.
Yeah, no, I got to look back and find out how they got that gap on the last three of us. I think it was just us racing too hard, but I don't know. They said they were working a little bit together to get that, but yeah, no, it went well. I mean, I had a little bit of issue that no one wanted to be out in front, so I was pulling everyone around. I tried to slow down just a little bit to conserve some fuel, hoping that Jose would pass me, and he didn't want to be in front. So I had to pick up a little bit extra fuel because I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to come out. So that kind of messed me up. Gotcha.
The question we've been asking everybody, and I'm sure the viewers are kind of sick of hearing us ask it, but it's interesting to me. I want to get a variety of opinions on it. 40 cars on a small track and teams, kind of making it a little spicy there tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I thought it went really well. I mean, it was great. I mean, if you guys were watching the laps, I mean, we went, what did we go? Like 2 or 3 wide through like 4 or 5, 6 turns at one point. And, I mean, it was great. I mean, I'm not sure how it looked in the back. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of contact that I saw, but I mean, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you know, I kind of knew the teams. You know, everyone knew what was going to happen with the teams. I mean, I ended up getting stuck kind of out on my own. I think Christian had a little bit of a hiccup somewhere in the back, and then it was kind of Jose, myself for the longest time with Christian, and then Edwin pulled up with Pete towards the end, and then they just were able to conserve enough fuel, which I think I came out like 3 seconds behind at some point or another. I was like, oh no, I got to make that up, but luckily there's enough traffic to make it back up. Then unfortunately the contact at the end.
Yo,
Yeah.
what's up?
Sorry, I was just reading some. I was going to ask if you had any questions for him, but Pete's asking that we wrap it up so we don't see what happens next on the replay. I don't know if anybody's watching the stream live, but
this is what I was talking about right here. So this is, I think, Pete and Jose. I was trying to line them up so I could get a good run out of that turn because I know they get a little bit slow going through there, and then they had contact, and luckily I was able to miss it. So that kind of gave me third place back. I kind of knew I was in a bad position going down the front stretch with them both behind me in the draft. I was like, do I go all the way in the inside, or I just kind of stick it out? And I decided to stick it out to the far left and see what happened. And then I got lucky.
There you go.
There you
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, right?
Yep. Yeah. No. Exactly. I mean, I felt bad for Jose, because he got I think he got bumped by Edwin earlier, and then he got bumped by Peter. I don't even know. I haven't looked at that yet. It looked like from behind, it looked like Pete kind of drifted out to him, and then he did have some room on the outside, but not a whole lot. So it was kind of a tight one there.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. We'll obviously kind of take looks at that, but it was obviously racing hard, racing incident. It's just kind of the open wheel racing there. You're gonna touch, and it's not like my former race in the NASCARs. We're just gonna bounce off each other for sure. So
it was crazy. I mean, I put like a 119.8 lap down trying to catch up to Christian and Edwin, and I didn't even make a dent in it. It was stupid. Those guys are fast. I was talking with them, chatting with them, and they said that they were working together to try to draft away from us. So can't do much when that happens.
Yeah, it worked. Your teammate ended up getting in a couple, early and then mid-race incidents, so he was never really up there to work with you. So, maybe next week at Spa that doesn't happen. It kind of the luck of the draw. They happen to miss that stuff, and you guys hit it. Could be the other way next week. So, yeah, teamwork's number one, as Christian says. So. Hey, either way, podium spot for you. Strong start to the season. I think a strong start overall. Chris was able to recover quite nicely, so we'll see how your team standings play out. But just want to say congratulations, and we'll look forward to Spa next week.
Yep. See you guys there. Have a good one.
You take it easy, mate.
Oh, we had somebody else in here, and then he left. I don't know what happened. All right, well, on that note, I think that we have reached the time where it's closing thoughts. What do you guys have?
Go on, Scott. Let's hear it, mate.
Crazy. So much happening. Too much to take in. We're definitely going to need longer races.
You think that we should increase the length of the race, or by time, or the number of laps? You think we should go to a number of laps per race?
I think time is good.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Laps could be tricky with some of the longer tracks, but no, I liked the timed races. But with if the season continues to become as popular as it is, yeah, we might end up with 50 cars on the track one race.
Do you think we're going to become a victim of our own popularity?
Well, we had 40 cars on the track today. Closest we came to that last season was, I think, 34. So who knows? By the end of the season, we could have 50.
Well, that might be something we're going to have to think about, right?
Sorry?
Well,
that might be something we need to think about.
Yep. The as long as we get the consistent turnout and people are enjoying it, we gotta certainly think about the future of the league. It seems like people relatively enjoyed it, but at some point it does become unsustainable, to have that many folks, and we don't want to split up the community. I think that's what makes it, Sunday Night Skippy so special as a league, and why people are drawn to it. So that's going to be a huge balancing act that's going to fall directly on the shoulders of our league admins. And luckily, you guys, take in the opinions of the league members, which is awesome. But at the same time, I don't envy you moving forward. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting thought experiment as we move forward. We'll see if this continues, if it's going to be 40 plus moving forward. If people are still enjoying themselves, that's great, and we'll figure it out. But any other thoughts there, Ian?
No, I mean, I thought that this was an incredible first race of the season. It really was. I mean, 40 cars. Oh my god. I mean, you know, who would have thought it? To be honest with you, I mean, this is not anything
we're
we
sitting
really
here talking
envisaged.
about it, right? It's like the story of the evening. Right?
It is. It
40
really
cars
is. You know,
on
to help with
a
the
small
racing, it
track.
was like 40 cars. But you know, the league really is grown really nicely. It is something that we've been talking about. You know, how do we manage this? Are we going to be forced to go into splits? And if we go into splits, that's a whole another
Oh, you said
set
the
of
S word.
issues. Yeah, I
Said
know,
the
but I
S
mean,
word.
you know, it gets to a point where, I mean, iRacing has a limit, right? They will only let 60 cars on the track at a time. We're already at 40, and we're only in season 3. So how do we manage this? And I mean, it is something that we've started to talk about in the sort of the admin side, just to try and start to think about ways of mitigating against this problem. We don't want to, not include anybody. I was going to say certain people, but I don't mean certain people. I mean, you know, we want to make sure everybody is included and has the opportunity to race, because that's what makes it fun. I think that having really good drivers, fairly good drivers, okay drivers, and drivers like myself who are really starting to learn, you know, how to get this thing done in the same session makes everybody better. The really good drivers have to get better because they have to deal with issues that they're not going to expect. You know, the quite good drivers are following the really good ones. The okay drivers are following them, and then the ones that are learning from everybody. So, you know, the whole point of this league was to have an inclusive league where people didn't dive bomb and, you know, so on and so forth. So it is something that we've been talking about, and it is something we're working on. And, you know, we welcome any suggestions as to how we can, you know, find ways of making sure we include everybody and still have lots of fun. We don't want to make it like, okay, you know, if you can get below this time split, then you're in this race, and if you get below that time split, you're in that race, because then it becomes iRacing public races again to some extent. You know what I mean? And we lose that camaraderie between the entire group. So it's something we're struggling with, and welcome anybody who might have any ideas. You do know we have James Hauser sitting in the standby. Have we spoken to James? We spoke to James, I mean. Well, I don't know why he's still sitting there. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, all good fun. Scott, we really want to see you back in the car, mate. You know, rather than holding a steering wheel in your hands that's not actually connected to anything, which is a bit sad. You know, so get yourself sorted.
How hard it was watching the race and not being a participant in it.
Yeah, well, the one thing you can do is watch the race and then yell at people for doing stupid stuff. Like, you just watch me and you can yell at me all evening.
You're part of the entertainment each week.
I'm not sure how to take that, but I'm going to take that as thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's how it was meant.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's really, you know, all I've got to say. I'm a bit long-winded as usual, but yeah, I thought that again, Kavak, thanks again. Chris put together a great show. Hopefully, people will really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to watching this at some point in time on Monday.
Well, there's no doubt I got to dust some of the cobwebs off here. If it's your first time, if you're still watching for some reason, it's your first time watching. They typically go a little smoother than that. I had some overlay issues. I got a little lazy. Got a little I don't know what too overconfident. But no, that was a lot of fun. I need to figure out a way to cover the action. There's just so much off tracks. You want to cover the off tracks and the crashes, but not miss the action that's going on, because just as we saw there at the final turn, final couple turns, I guess, final lap, some great 3-wide action going on up at the front of the field. And you know, with 40 cars, we try to give everybody their screen time, and everybody's valued, but it's just very tough. So we welcome recommendations if you're in the Discord, or if you just want to message on the Twitter or YouTube there. That's great. Just note that I do have a to-do list that I'm trying to get after for the broadcast, but as life kind of returns to normal to some extent, at least the work schedule, my time to address all that stuff does diminish, but this still means a lot to me, and it means a lot that you guys let me do it. So I try to put in the effort to make it something that is fun for the folks who go out there and actually are doing the actual work. So anyway, I'm excited for how the season's going to shake out. I think the additions that we made in the rule changes that we made are positive so far. I don't see any reason to believe that they're going to be an issue or that we're going to have to modify them anytime soon. I'm excited about the team championship. I think that was a great addition. And outside of that, I think I'm just going to call it a night. I mean, it's 10:45 here on the East Coast, and I don't know what's happening on the NASCAR race at the moment. I don't know if they ended up getting rained out, but go check that out. And wish everybody a great Sunday night. Thank you for joining us here on the season premiere of Season 3 for Sunday Night Skippy. We will be back with you next week at the same time, same bat time, same bat channel for Week 2 at Spa, which was a great race last season and not too long ago. I think it may still be up on Twitch, definitely on YouTube. You can go check that out. But really looking forward to seeing how we do with a much larger field and with the team dynamics in it. So with that, we will wish everybody a good night and take care of yourselves. See you next week.